Okay, perfect. Recording started. More than happy. So what about this session? I'm teaching you nothing when saying that the beginning of this year was quite a bumpy ride for everyone. We know that lots of people have a hard time, personally and professionally. And lots of people came to us asking how we manage through those trying times as we were working in the healthcare sector. So instead of answering individually those questions, we choose to share with a wider audience, and that's why you are all here today. And once again, thank you for joining this event. All attendees will have a chance to ask all their questions in the Q&A panel. So you have a Q&A panel. Feel free to put any question you would like us to answer. This session will be dedicated to product questions. So I may put aside unrelated questions, but don't worry, we'll have a couple more sessions with our 2 VP engineering in the upcoming weeks. But any question you have, please push them. Okay. So I spoke a lot, but I'm far from being the most interesting person in that Zoom today. Here with me are Julien Meraud and Julien Meichelbeck. Julien Meraud is a Doctolib since the beginning of the company and is currently holding the title of Chief Product Officer. So the person to ask when you have product questions. And Julien Meichelbeck joined Doctolib more than 4 years ago as a software engineer and is now the engineering manager of the patient health record team. So let's move on to questions. I have a question to you, Julien. What has been the biggest challenge of this year so far?
I mean, obviously the biggest challenge was COVID management situation, which started in March. We had 2 big challenges, I would say. The first one was overall for the company because we all had to start working remotely. The good thing where we were using like tools on a daily basis, which enabled to make it like quite smoothly, I would say, for the tech and product team, and a bit more complex for some other teams of Doctolib, obviously. And the second thing from a tech and product point of view was, of course, the fact that we needed to adapt our product with 2 main changes. The first one was we had a very strong video consultation push because practices were closed. So we moved from 3,000 to more than 30,000 healthcare professionals using our video consultation services. And so it means a lot of onboarding done very quickly, a lot of usage too. So a lot of changes to be brought to the platform. And the second thing also is that we needed to enable doctors to close their practices smoothly, reopen their practices smoothly, and inform their patients. So these are the 2 main things we had to do to improve our product or to adapt our product to the situation.
You're muted. Alex, you're muted.
Thanks. We have a question. We have a couple of questions. First one is the pandemic an opportunity for us to expand to other countries?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that because we had so much to do in France and in Germany with the situation that I would not say at all this is an opportunity to expand to some other countries.
Okay, thanks. Before moving to the next one, I have another one. You talked about onboarding lots of people, lots of new users on the platform. How did you manage the operational side of things did you just add many more person to the operation team in order to be able to provide the same kind of quality of service?
We did two things. The first one, from a tech and product point of view, was to enable self-onboarding, because before it was mandatory to speak with a Doctolib person to start working, to start doing some video consultation. So we had a project where Julien and I were involved to enable self-onboarding, which was quite complex, because doctors need to adapt their setups. They need to open new time slots for video consultation. They need to know how to share a prescription with their patients. They need to know how to bill their patient while not having the patient in front of them and not having the carte vitale of the patient with them. That's the first part. And the second part is that we did exactly what you say. Even if doctors onboarded themselves, many of them had a lot of questions, and the team we have dedicated to video consultation before was like around 35 people, and we trained like 200 people within the company to have more than 200 people fully available to answer to doctors' questions.
I think that's the moment where it started to become a bit crazy for us. I remember when we realized that we needed to improve the way we onboarded doctors, and it was a Friday night, and I remember Julien coming into the office I'm in, like, okay, we need to work on that, and like we got lucky because we had many good developers in the room at this time, so we created a new team from scratch, just working on that for a bit more than 2 weeks, I think, and yeah,
because at the beginning, we just increased the number of sales and ops people, and we enabled doctors to find a time slot by themselves to be trained by a Doctolib. But then we realized that there were like 3 weeks of waiting time. And so we were like March the 10th, and we were saying to doctors, the next availability is beginning of April. So we said, okay, this is not possible. The country is going to be locked down during, and at that time we were thinking 2 weeks or 3 weeks of lockdown. We are not thinking 9-10 weeks, but we say, okay, the next availability is after the end of what we think will be the end of the lockdown. So this is why we decided to launch this self-onboarding initiative. We took I think five developers: Yvan, Christophe Vermorel too, Thibaut, and we started working on that with them during the weekend. Took us like 4 days and a half to be live, because we started development on the Saturday morning, and we were live like on Wednesday afternoon. We were live, and at the end of the week, the Friday after, I think more than 15,000 doctors were registered. So it took us 18 months to register like 3,500 doctors, and we registered more than 10,000 in 2 days with the self-onboarding product.
Thanks for that. I see that we have another question related to new features that we would not have done without the situation. Is there anything else on the product part that was built and that was not on the initial roadmap?
Julien?
I think all the features that we introduced, I think they were just moved up in the timeline. I think they were all features that we wanted to do someday, just maybe in a few months. Right now, on the top of my mind, I cannot find a feature that was just added just for COVID. Of course, some very specific features regarding communication to patients. We are not. I hope we will not reuse the pandemic communication feature very soon. But most of the features we introduced, I think they were already planned. I don't know if you have another one, Julien.
Yes, so you're right. We did a lot to explain to doctors and patients what was going on. We changed our homepage and this kind of thing. And maybe one thing we were thinking to do and we haven't done before was video consultation for new patients. I see there is one question like, did you have some restrictions that became more flexible thanks to the current situation? And yes, there were some things that became more flexible. One of them was a video consultation for new patients, which was very restricted before the COVID, and which became much more open during the COVID period. So we enabled doctors to do it, and some other things also, like for instance, something very French, but the CERFA document for what we call the feuille de soins is supposed to be a special CERFA on a special paper. And during the COVID situation, it was okay to have a PDF printed by patients, for instance. So these are things we developed.
Okay, thanks for that. We have a question regarding Telehealth. Someone would like to know what were the unexpected challenges of building Telehealth.
Julien did it, so he can let us know.
Yes,
So, Julien.
Yeah, I've been lucky to be part of the original team working on the video consultation. So the main challenge is always the stability for us. It's always really hard when you're working on video consultation, like to have just clear communication. Like Zoom is really good at it. That's why like it's one of the most valued company in the world on this specific topic. And for us, it's always this. It's a very technical point. On the product side, I think the added value is clear, and it became even more clearer, I think, in the previous months. So I know that my answer is a little bit technical because it's not product related. Maybe Julien, you have one idea on that. Oh, you're muted also.
Yeah, sorry, I know, but I agree with what you said. It was hard for the product team to support at that time because, as you say, these are very technical topics. But I was very surprised on how hard it was to have a video and a sound you can rely on. And I think it took us a lot of time, a lot of tests with different solutions to make it happen. So today, when I see the quality of the Zoom we are having right now, I feel a bit jealous. But I did some video consultations by myself, like 2 or 3 over the past months, and I think the quality we have right now is quite good. But there are still a lot of things that can be done. For instance, when you see the chat here, this is something that we still do not have, and we can work on at some point. So there are still many things to do.
I think it's also related to the usage that when you use Zoom, usually you're in an office. It's mostly work related, stuff like that. And even for patients, you don't know where they are. You don't know if they're going to use their cell phone or whatever, or their smartphone or their laptop. And even doctors, they are not always very well equipped. They don't always have the best network in the hospitals and so on. So, yeah.
Thanks. We are moving now to a topic back to basics. Did working remotely affect the way we developed our product? So first, maybe one of you could explain how we organized the team before and what has changed.
I can talk about the before. We are organized as feature teams, which mean we have independent feature teams like product and tech team working together. That we like to call them like it's a mini startup. It means like they can build features completely independently from other teams. And all those teams, they acquired an expertise on their product. So yeah, there's one team, for instance, working on the video consultation. They know really well this product. There's the other team working on the hospital tools for the agenda for doctors, something like that. So we used to have this organization, and when this changed, we had to change the scope of those teams. Some teams, like the hospital agenda, was still important, maybe not as important as the video consultation and as the self-onboarding for doctors, for instance. So all this stuff changed, and Julien mentioned a little bit earlier. Then yeah, we had to rethink every week the way we organize the teams to be sure that we were working on the good stuff, because on the important stuff. Because if you remember back in March, nothing was as clear as it is today, even if we have still some uncertainties regarding the COVID situation, but it was way worse in March. We didn't know how long it was going to last, how critical it was going to be. So we had to reevaluate every week.
Thanks. If we take a step back regarding this question of working remotely and the impact on the teams, we actually did take steps to ensure that everything went smoothly. We provided an offer called Docto Self-Care to Doctolibers in order to help them to cope with the switch, because change management is not an easy thing, especially when you go from a company full on-site to full remote. And we did as well a few studies in order to change our process and the way we work and collaborated together. Okay, one other question, will the feature last post-COVID?
Most of them probably yes. I think based on the features we describe, it's easy to know if they will last post-COVID or not. So for instance, all the communication will probably not last because this is very specific, but the onboarding funnel for video consultation will remain for sure and will be helpful for sales teams for sure. The video consultation for new patients will probably remain. It mostly depends on the law and on how the regulation will evolve, but probably this is going to remain to still be okay from a legal point of view. So we will keep it on the website, obviously. So most of the things will remain.
Thanks. A quick one for Julien. Which technology did you go for? RTC? I guess it's
WebRTC. So it's an end-to-end encrypted protocol for video chat.
Thanks. Someone would like to know what is the biggest lesson we learned thanks to the pandemic?
I would say, and I will let Julien give its own lesson, but I think for me, the biggest lesson we learned is how quickly we can adapt ourselves and how quickly our teams can adapt. Because as I said when I was talking about the fact that we train more than 200 people, and those 200 people became like video consultation consultant doing sales and ops job from one day to another. So 200 of them have never seen our video consultation product. I've never seen it like from a internal viewpoint of view. So they never sell it. They never talk to it about doctors. And the day after, they were answering to phone calls of doctors, answering their questions. And obviously, it's the same for tech and product team who worked on very different topics that ones they were used to. But I think it's crazy because you would have asked us, okay, how long do you think it can take to have 200 people onboarded? We would have said, okay, maybe 1 month, 1 month and a half. And I think some company would say 6 months, 12 months, but us, we would have said 1 month even before the COVID. And it happened in 1 day and it happened remotely. So it's something very impressive. And so each time now we try to anticipate how long something will take and how long a change will take. We try to kind of COVID benchmark us and to say, okay, but if we would have such a pressure, would we be able to make it quicker? And often the answer is yes, obviously.
Thanks. We have another question which could be related. If you could go back in time and change one thing about the way you handled the situation, what would it be?
I've got something. I think as I explained previously, like we work as feature teams. So there's one feature team which really know the video consultation. The others not that much. They know the basics. And at that time, when we had to have more than 7 feature teams, I don't remember how many, but more than 7, working on video consultation related topics. For the few people that really knew the topic, it was really exhausting. We had to spend a lot of time to onboard everybody. As Julien said, like the knowledge was really centralized at Doctolib. We are not the best at writing product documentation internally, so it's all in our heads. So if I could change something, maybe I would write some stuff down before the crisis and before the pandemic. Maybe share a little bit on the product side. On the technical side, it's okay. On the product side, on how feature works, because they can be really complex, involving hospitals, involving, oh no, this video consultation feature just works like that, but in Germany, in France, it's not like that. And no, this is just for simple practices. This is not for hospitals. And all of that is just in our head. And it was really difficult to share all that knowledge and that information with all those feature teams to work on this synchronization and to be sure that we do not introduce a product vulnerability or something that we do not expect.
And did we kickstart any initiative in order to add more formal knowledge writing during the process of the product development?
Yeah, there are many initiatives on that. Some of them rely on training sessions organized by developers and product managers themselves to teach how one specific part of the product work. Always not very just click like this, but how it works internally, because it's very important to understand how it works and why it works like that. And we of course are working right now on a documentation platform that's more suited to our tech and product needs.
I can see that Julien is able to answer that one. How do you apply the Nadal philosophy on the product strategy?
Thank you, Clémence, for that question. I think like releasing the self-onboarding product in 5 days, or having 50% of the team changing what they were doing. It's kind of the Nadal philosophy. So you never give up. You always try to move forward. I have to say, when on a Friday at 6 p.m. Stan told me we have to do something by the end of the weekend, I was more a bit like Djokovic at the US Open 2 days ago than Nadal winning Roland Garros for the maybe 10th or 12th time. But still, I mean, we have one big chance. I think it's the topics we are working on are like super useful. We have a lot of usage. We have a big role to play. So this is how we try to have everybody motivated.
Just for people like me who don't know about the Nadal philosophy, could you please state it?
I don't really know. I don't know where did Clémence where did it come from? Where did it come from? I think Stan is more a Federer guy.
Okay, I have one question I don't really understand. How about GDPR? I'm pretty sure the sanitary situation of this beginning of year changed nothing about the way we handled this. I'm going to mark this question as answered. If you have a more precise question, please ask it and we'll answer it. A question from Manon. You use Salesforce since 2016 with Sales Cloud, I believe. Did you have to make improvements and evolutions, configurations to better fit the new needs coming with the COVID, or use new softwares to answer your business needs?
No, I think the way we were using Sales Cloud was already adapted to the COVID situation, so we didn't have to change anything inside. We just had to train many people to use it, but this is it.
Hopefully, we had a huge rework of our Salesforce a few months before the crisis, which already put that things in a way that it could scale with us and our clients. Thank you. We have, Pamela is sharing with us the Nadal philosophy in sport in general. If you don't try your best, in my opinion, lose everything. If you don't. Okay. It's okay. We did try our best, and I guess we don't lose everything. Again, a quick question related to the tech of the telehealth. We talked a little about TRTC, and we are asked which server is used to handle it, or is it direct peer-to-peer? I'm pretty sure it's the second one.
Yes. Peer-to-peer communication between the doctor and the patient.
Yeah, actually, there is a legal motive behind that, isn't it?
Behind what?
Behind the fact that the communication does not go through a third-party server.
Yes.
Because the video. Yeah, please.
I mean, if you don't need it, like if you want to have a communication between like 10 persons on a video chat such as Zoom, it's better to have a server using that rather than running that. But we are lucky as that a patient usually just needs to communicate with a doctor right now. We have no video consultation with more than 2 parties. So at the end of the day, it's perfectly okay from a technical and from a more legal point of view to have a peer-to-peer communication.
Thanks. Well. Coming back to the product part about video consultations, do you have an idea of the increase of the number of video consultation during the peak of the crisis?
Yeah, I think at the peak we used to have like 1,000 video consultation a day, and I think at the peak we were at 150,000 a day during the peak period.
Thanks. Perfect. And we have another one. What were the main fears of practitioners about this new feature, Telehealth? And how did we adapt the product with this knowledge?
I would say they have 2 fears. The first one is to receive some non-relevant patients. So patients who cannot be cured through telehealth. And this is why we try to measure that. So how many video consultations were not relevant, and the figure was very low, lower than expected, because it's less than 2% of the time that it occurred. And we try to give some explanations to the patients before they book the appointment. And I think the second thing they were scared of is not being able to bill their patients and to share the prescription while not having the patient in front of them. They are used to give some paper prescription. They are used to receive the carte vitale of the patient physically in their hand. And to do this, we try to provide them some very deep trainings, not only on Doctolib, but also on the software they are using for the prescriptions or for the billing. So we were training them on like some potential Doctolib competitors, so but they can run telehealth smoothly. And this is why before COVID, we had always a touch point with a sales guy before launching telehealth. And this is what was the toughest part on the self-onboarding, to be able to explain to them how to use the software, which is not the Doctolib software.
And even for regarding Doctolib, we were onboarding so many practitioners at this time that it was hard to spend as much time as we would have liked to explain how the video consultation itself was working. So so I remember that we introduced at this time a feature for them to do fake video consultation. So they could train before doing real teleconsultation, like running fake video chat and doing a fake billing, sharing fake documents. So that's what we introduced during the COVID period, I think.
Thanks. Any other fear of our clients? Nope, no fear. Perfect. Another one, which doctor branch was or is the most resistant to use telehealth?
I don't think some of them are more resistant, or I don't think anyone is resistant. But obviously telehealth fits more for general practitioners than for a dentist or a physiotherapist, for instance. But during the COVID situation, a lot, even of dentists, even of physiotherapists, wanted to have telehealth to, for instance, for a physiotherapist to run some to share some exercise with their patients, for dentists, for some like emergency consultation which can be done through telehealth. So no one is really resistant.
Okay, so there was kind of please.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, it's, as Julien said, it's just not the same use cases for all specialties.
Yeah.
Some specialties they do not expect to do all their follow-up using video consultation. So some of this very specific need.
Yeah. And there could be the question of tech savviness as well, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's related to the specialty of the doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not. What do you think will change in the future regarding this? Are we going to see new usages in unsuspected specialties?
No, I think what will change is it became an habit for doctors and patients during the COVID period, and for sure usage will remain much higher than it used to be before COVID, which is a very good thing, because it avoids that patients have to move to the practice. It enables doctors to do consultations from their home, for instance, which they cannot do. Like, I mean, today us who are all, you, Alexandre, I can bet you're not at the office and you're working from home, from what I see behind. Julien Meichelbeck also, from what I see behind him, I know is not at the office, and we can all work from our home. And this is something which was not feasible for doctor before video consultation. So I think what we will see is a major push with a very strong usage, larger usage. That's what we used to have before the COVID.
Thanks. I'm going to ask you a personal question to each one of you. Julien, if you were to keep one memory of the last 6 months, obviously work-related, not of your wonderful vacancy in Greece, what would it be?
Which Julien are you asking?
I mean, he's talking about someone being in Greece, so probably you.
Yeah, probably you. Sorry, I just forgot that I booked a session with a couple of Julien.
Sorry. Yes, I think it was what I mentioned earlier. Just the moment where Julien came to see us and said like, we need to work. Sorry guys, we need to work this weekend. And I remember that very vividly because I had a plane the next morning, and I know it sounds like I'm always on vacation, but no, I'm not. And I was leaving for the Guadeloupe the next day, and I was like, oh, do I need to cancel my vacation? And I didn't, because I was expecting everything to slow down a little bit, which was poor decision making. But so I had the chance to be locked down in Guadeloupe for a week. So I worked from Guadeloupe for a week, doing really weird hours, because I was waking up at 4 in the morning to be in sync with Paris. So working a lot on the COVID crisis situation, couldn't get out of the room because of the lockdown. Really strange situation to be in.
And you, Julien Meraud?
No, but it's exactly the same than Julien, because yes, I mean sometimes we have a big team of product managers, big team of product designers in Doctolib, and sometimes I kind of lose the contact with their day-to-day work, and so here it was not the case at all. So I'm like, okay, we are going to do it. We need kind of specs to be ready for tomorrow morning. I did like 2 telehealth training in my whole life, and it was like 18 months before when we launched the product. So I went to the floor of the sales team and I said to a manager, okay, who is the best? He told me 16. She's the best for training our telehealth users. So I went to talk to 16 that I didn't know before. It was a Friday at like 6 p.m. and I told her, okay, 16, do you have any plan for tonight? And she told me, yeah, I have a dinner at 9 p.m. I say, okay, so we have 2 hours and a half. You're going to tell me exactly how do you train people on video consultation, and we are going to slice it and try to convert it into a self-onboarding funnel. And I took some developers too, and we spent like 2 hours, 3 hours together just to understand the funnel, prepare the specs for the Saturday morning. And it was very, very good to be part of the beginning of that moment. And the day after, we arrived at the office at 8 a.m. and the office was closed because the office is closed during the weekend. So we waited like 1 hour. We are working from Le Sauveur, which is the bar where we are usually having beers on evenings, not having breakfast on mornings while reviewing the specs with the developers. Say, okay, guys, we're going to start with this or with that, and we spend the weekend preparing it.
Thanks. We have a couple more of questions, and I guess it will be the end of this first session. During the self-onboarding, how do you at all handle data import, for instance, of the practices, appointments, patient data, and so on that they had in their previous systems?
Yeah, so something very important is that the video consultation product is a product which can be used by existing Doctolib users. So which means that the data import was already done before. So this is how it worked when we launched the self-onboarding for video consultation.
Thanks. And maybe the last one. How did you handle product feedback from doctors and patients? Because obviously we could not go to practices to see how doctors were working. Did you change the way you collect feedback? And how did we prioritize this feedback?
I think we always ask for some feedback at the end of each video consultation. So if I take the example of still video consultation, we changed a bit the questions we were asking to doctors, to patients, to make sure that all their feedback were properly saved. Because We used to do that just before the COVID situation, but I remember that we changed a bit the way we were collecting those feedbacks. We are always asking also just feedbacks on many features used by doctors, just giving us 5 stars or 2 stars if it's really bad, and if it's bad, please tell us why. So yeah, we've been reading those comments to make sure that we take all those feedbacks into account.
Thanks. Okay, organization-wise, did you stop growing as a company, as an engineering organization?
I don't think so. So I was reviewing this morning the slide, which will be shared tomorrow evening during our monthly all ends with the whole team. And so we had like 128 new joiners in July, August, and September. So I wouldn't say that we stopped growing. And also thanks to the job done by Tris over the past month, I think in a weird way, but in August, we beat the record of the new hires we have within our full stack team, because I think we have something like 8 new joiners in the full stack team just for the month of August. So I mean, as of now, stop growing our teams and stop growing our tech and product team is not, for sure, not something we are doing.
There is something like a little bit more than 20 feature teams as of today. Do you have an idea of what we aim for the end of the year?
I think today we are growing at around, we are launching around like 4 to 5 feature teams per quarter. So 4 to 5 feature teams, it's 20 developers, around 20 developers. So as I said, August was our record with 8, but usually we are between, I think, 5 to 6 developers in both Paris, Berlin, and Nantes, and we hire like product managers and product designers in parallel, obviously.
Thanks. So I guess that's it. Unless we have a second question, I'm going to thank both of you, Julien, for answering all those questions, and thanks all the attendees of this event, because it's really nice for us to be able to keep in touch with you. We are going to, like I said, have a couple of other tech-related events. I can see a surprise question. I'm just finishing on that one, switching to the question, and that's it. A couple more of events with our French VP of Engineering and our German VP of Engineering in the next weeks. So for all tech-related questions, go on. It will be very late. Lots of questions. Perfect. I'm super happy. So for all tech-related questions, please check on the Doctolib.engineering website and our meetup page. And that's it. Let's move to the last questions. And after that, I'm pretty sure I will have to let go both my Julien. Why is your product team focusing on for the next quarter?
I can answer in 15 seconds or 10 minutes. I mean, as Alex said, we have like around 20, 25 feature teams. So we are kind of focusing on many different things. So virtual care, obviously, but also improving online booking, providing more and more online booking to our healthcare professional. To healthcare professionals using Doctolib. We are also working on improving the satisfaction of healthcare professionals using our booking management software. So there are many things we are working on.
Thanks. And the last one, is there still any work on the sales aspect to convince doctors to join Doctolib, or are the majority of doctors fully convinced now in Paris?
If you listen to tech and product teams, every doctor should join. And we think there is no effort to convince them. But obviously, we're also talking a lot with our sales guys, and for sure, there are still a lot of effort to do. Doctolib, it's not only about Paris, it's also about the whole France, the whole Germany, maybe some countries, some other countries arriving in the coming months and years. So for sure, there is still a lot to do. Also, we know we will launch new country, video consultation, a new product. Video consultation was a new product. We will launch also some new products for doctors in the coming months. So still a lot to do.
Thank you for that. And it was the last one. Once again, thanks everybody. Hope to see you in the next ones. Hope you a great day and keep it up. Bye-bye.
Thanks for organizing.
Perfect.
Bye.